Asperger's has now, again, like ADD, has been subsumed into the category of autism. So it doesn't stand out separate, but the way that we refer to it usually is high-functioning autism. So it's people, a lot of times, who are cognitively very advanced, yet they're socially awkward. And so, again, I'm going to click to the next screen. One of the strategies that helps kids who struggle with autism and Asperger's, routine is key, just as in early childhood and just as in any other, classroom that's managed well. Warnings are very helpful. And again, I mean, if you look down to the bottom bullet, it says, use his or her particular interest and apply it to the lesson. I mean, this, again, it's just good teaching. And that's what I would say in general, because I'm almost done, is that that good special ed is really just good education. That's really all that it is. It's taking into account the fact that you've got the kid with Spilkus, that you've got a child who learns much better when she writes, or paints to reinforce what she has just heard and taken in, or a child that has some sort of support in the classroom, that you're making sure that that person who is supporting that child is in sync with you. So that, for instance, I mean, what I've seen works best is, those teen Ozrim or those, mentors or whomever you've got working as a SEED with a child, make sure that they get the lesson plan ahead of time, that they can actually be your partner with you in making the lesson be as successful and as, quote-unquote, normative, meaning that they don't have to be separate. I've seen some shadows who actually work in small groups, and you don't really know who, his or her assigned kid is. There are different ways to handle all kinds of issues. And what I would say, that goes without saying, first and foremost, is that all of this is not only to accommodate the learner, but to make sure that all kids, all students feel that they belong there and that they can learn and that they're excited about Judaism and their Jewish education and their identity. So again, getting back to I'm going to conclude by the getting ready to teach piece. As you plan your lessons, again, not only can they access it, but how can I adapt it, and how am I going to assess if they've actually retained what I've tried to cover. And again, I mean, you can see that, I think the most important thing in terms of, especially for early childhood and day school in particular, is just keeping really good notes. When I ran a kindergarten class, and I did it in Kita Aleph too, we had, this was a long time ago, I wasn't keeping very good notes on the computer, but I had a note index card. I had a file on each child where I would literally just scribble certain things, either, progress that I was seeing or concerns. Jenny seemed to be staring out the window today. Jenny, when we were listing A words or Aleph words, or what, she was throwing out lots of words that began with other letters, or things like that. So that when it comes time for either a parent to be forthcoming or an administrator, for you to voice what you're seeing, that you've got objective, observable, pieces that are not just judgments. That this is something that's a pattern, it's something you're seeing over time, and how can you work together as a team with the family to make it work for them. So with that being said, because we really had wanted time for questions, and it's past 7:30. So I apologize. Dina? No, that's fine. Sorry. I will, great. So Dory, I want to say thank you so much for your presentation, both I want to say thank you so much to both of our presenters. You've really given us so much to think about. And both of these PowerPoints will be posted on our blog page. Our blog page, by the way, is now up and running. So I encourage all of the participants to go and to go onto the blog page to take a look at the resources that we have up there. We will be posting more resources. You have the ability to make comments. Everybody has the ability to make comments on the blog post and to comment on other people's comments as well. While unfortunately we don't have time to have questions during the webinar, I do encourage everybody to email either of the two presenters. You can email me and I'm happy to send it out to them. We started our listservs. You should have received your invitation to join one or more listservs today. I encourage you, if you ask a question to the presenters, to send out the question in response to all of the other participants so that everybody has an opportunity to see the response, to listen. But the presenters' email addresses will be they will be up on the blog post, as well as they will be at the end, I believe, of both of our both of the posted presentations. As well as Dr. Davidson just wrote me a note that they will also forward us all of the questions that they receive and the answers, and I'm happy to share that with everybody. Sorry, I just want to remind everybody that the breakout session, the early childhood education breakout session, will be on December 8th at 6 p.m. The elementary religious school breakout session will be on December 9th at 11 a.m. The high school day school breakout session will take place on December 14th at 5 p.m. And the elementary day school breakout session will also take place on December 14th at 6:30 p.m. If you would like to participate and you did not get information, I will be sending out information about all of the breakout sessions. You're welcome to participate in one or more sessions if you find that to be interesting for you. And we'll also post those on the resource page. There is a specific video webinar resource page posting for our community of practice. You should have received that link, but I will send that out again, so do not worry. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Again, I want to thank you so much to Henry for your wonderful Devar Torah, to Dr. Aryeh Davidson, and to Dory Freeman-Kirshner. You've given us so much to think about with respect to what are our goals of inclusion, what do we think about when we think about inclusion, what's our own personal philosophy and our own personal philosophy as educators, and then how do we take that into the practice that we do. So in the breakout sessions, we will discuss ways. I'm really going to turn it over to all of the participants to discuss ways together to take this information from this webinar and really put it into practice. So I want to say thank you all so much for participating. Please do not hesitate to email me, contact me, or email or contact the presenters. And thank you so much. Chag Sameach. Have a wonderful and bright Hanukkah.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm closing the recording.